Let's talk about nutritional deficiencies and your ability to think. When I talk about thinking, I'm talking about problem solving. And when you're solving problems, you need creativity, you need a lot of imagination. You also need focus, because you're not going to be able to solve problems if you're thinking about something else. You do need your memory to some degree. Learning could also be a part of problem solving, especially if you're learning from your mistakes, right? Also, you need concentration. You need to be able to hyper-focus and hold your attention on something for a period of time. All of these are part of your cognitive function. And your cognitive function is highly influenced by nutrition and your diet and other things as well. Let's start with number one. If you have a vitamin B1 deficiency, you're going to have a tendency to be excessively worried about things. You're going to be nervous. You're going to have a lot of nervous energy. You're not going to be able to be relaxed. You're going to be kind of in stress mode. Try to solve problems when you're stressed out. It just doesn't work too well. And by the way, when you're low in B1, you may have a tendency to have more nightmares, panic attacks, and I'm going to teach you this new word here. Confabulation. Yes, it is a true word. And confabulation is one of the early signs of a B1 deficiency. And the definition of that relates to filling in the gap from things you don't remember by making up things that are false. Yes, it's an actual word, it's an actual thing, but that's an early sign of a B1 deficiency. I'm sure you can think of people who make up a bunch of stuff, right? They could be B1 deficient. All right, number two. Low vitamin D3. When you're deficient in D3, you're not going to have the focus. You're not going to have the concentration. You can actually be depressed and be in kind of a doom and gloom mode. I'm going to tell you, people that are depressed are not solving problems. They just have a lot of problems, but they just have a difficult time solving them. And so if you're deficient in D3, it's going to severely affect your ability to think and be rational and solve problems. Number three, low omega-3 fatty acids. And I'm talking about DHA. DHA is a type of omega-3 fatty acid that makes up a good portion of your brain. So you need this type of fat for your memory, holding your attention, and also to keep your mood elevated. And so omega-3 fatty acids, fatty fish is a good source. Now, these next series of things are not nutritional deficiencies, but I wanted to add them in there. And this is interesting. High cortisol levels, okay, this comes from stress, severely impairs your ability to think and solve problems and have attention on things. You will have a tendency to have excessive thinking, especially at night. You know, when you're trying to sleep and you're coming up with this problem with plan A, plan B, plan C, and it's just running all night long. And this means you have high cortisol. And it just so happens that these two things can help lower cortisol, FYI. All right, next thing, and this is very, very, very common, high insulin, because you eat a lot of carbohydrate. You have insulin resistance. And when you have high insulin, you're going to live in a lot of brain fog, lack of clarity, lack of focus. You're going to be irritable and have ADD, attention deficit disorder. Now, this is a very easy problem to solve just by changing your diet. If you're new to my channel, I put a link down below of what you should be eating to deal with this. I also put a link down below of how to deal with this as well. I also want to mention EMF. This right here, your cell phone, right? And your computer. When you're holding this to your head all day long and you're talking on your cell phone, or you have the buds which deliver the Wi-Fi into your brain, you're being exposed to a good amount of EMF fields. This is electromagnetic fields, and this can majorly affect your ability to think. Why? Because your brain actually has an electrical field already, and when you expose it to other types of energy, it can severely affect your ability to focus and concentrate. I wanted to mention screens too. If someone is sitting in front of a TV screen or a computer and playing video games for hours on end, that can severely affect their ability to solve problems as well. And lastly, if you don't sleep that well, you're going to have a very difficult time solving problems and thinking, because when you don't sleep, you raise cortisol, and this can affect blood sugars, which cause high levels of insulin. All right, there you have it, the three most important nutrients. and some additional things to think with to increase your ability to think.